This is a CBS 4 News update.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Pastrana. Investigators are trying to sort out the chain of events that led to a woman being shot in Hollywood and officers opening fire on the suspected shooter in Miramar. Officers say a woman called 911 near Apollo Middle School Wednesday to report a battery. A 911 operator heard gunshots while on the phone with her. Officers responded and helped the victim, who'd been shot multiple times, to get to the hospital. Police tracked the shooter to an address in Miramar, and when officers arrived, he fled and officers shot him. That man was taken to the hospital in critical condition. A mother is mourning the loss of her teenage son, who risked his life to save a mother and child from nearly drowning off the waters of Virginia Key. During that rescue, 17-year-old Christian Burgos also got swept up in the current. Burgos had been in a coma since Monday. He died yesterday. Family and friends from Booker T. Washington High School got together for an informal tribute to Burgos last night. They spent the night remembering his selfless sacrifice. A Fort Lauderdale police officer is rushed to the hospital following a chase that ended in a crash. From Chopper 4, you can see the widespread chaotic aftermath that started in Fort Lauderdale and ended in Pompano Beach. Fort Lauderdale police say the driver and another man were wanted for a carjacking robbery. They tried to flee to Pompano Beach before crashing. A Fort Lauderdale police officer was involved in the crash while chasing the men. He suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
They was coming, they was chasing him, and he swerving, going real fast. He turned that corner and he ran into them cars and stuff. He tried to get out and get away.
The two suspects in the Jaguar were taken into custody after crashing right in front of a home. And President Trump is coming to Florida this afternoon. President Trump will be visiting the Villages retirement community, which is located between Orlando and Ocala. President Trump is expected to unveil a new Medicare plan. He's making up for a trip he canceled following the mass shootings in Texas and Ohio.
Now, CBS 4 weather.
It is Thursday, and on this Thursday, we once again have the threat for coastal flooding. So at high tide is when we can expect some flooding out there, although it's not as enhanced as it was during the beginning of the week, but it's still going to be an issue for a lot of us. From Palm Beach down through Miami-Dade, that coastal flood advisory remains in effect through at least 4 p.m. today. Next high tide on this Thursday is between noon and 2 o'clock. Now, as far as what's going on with our forecast, let's talk about the atmospheric moisture. There is deep tropical moisture over the Caribbean and also over the Florida Straits and parts of the Keys. That's why early this morning we saw some heavy showers over the Keys. While there have been a few showers over Dade and Broward, it hasn't been as intense as compared to the Keys. So we'll keep that going through today and tomorrow, but there is a bit of dry air, especially on the northern half of the state into the Panhandle. Some of that sneaking into South Florida, but I just don't think it's enough to dry us completely. So expect a few passing showers at least the early half of Friday. Then as we head into the weekend, a little batch of moisture comes our way. This is going to help to spark up some potentially thunderstorms during the afternoon, especially for the inland areas. And then we expect similar forecasts again for Sunday. So basically a better chance for thunderstorms through the weekend. And on top of that, temperatures will be warming up just slightly by then. Highs today 88, which is not far from normal. East wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now I do want to talk about what's happening further up north of us. There's this front moving through. It's the same system that brought snow earlier in the week across the Pacific Northwest. Well, now it's bringing rain in the northeast and a cold front down through the Central Plains. Cold air behind that, cold air for the northeast as well today. And temperatures starting off in the 50s, even the 30s and 40s up into the northern plains. Now, I mention this because we always have that hope that, hey, maybe we're getting a cool down pretty soon, but not just yet. That's not coming our way. Meanwhile, I'm happy to say the tropics are looking quiet for now. There's an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. You see right there that convection bubbling up. Well, that it will be tracking over into the northwest towards the Yucatan and then eventually into the Gulf of Mexico by next week. Through the weekend, though, the tropical potential for development is very low and most likely unfavorable, unlikely until it moves into the Gulf by next week. Back here at home, no advisories for boaters, although just exercise with caution. The bay's at a moderate chop. Lows dropping into the upper 70s today and then once again 88 for tomorrow. Now temperatures will warm up slightly, but it makes a difference. It's going to feel a lot more humid through the weekend as temperatures get closer to 90 degrees. We'll hit that 90 by Monday.
Jennifer, thank you. That's the news for now. You can always find us on CBSMiami.com and tune into CBS 4 News at 5, 6, 7, and 11 for all of today's important headlines.